Action. Rolling.
Hello. Welcome to Frog and Progeny.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that. Well done. What have you been up to?
I went to Cirque du Soleil with you.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I really enjoyed it. I do like Cirque du Soleil. It seems to be a bit of a regular Marillion outing. And
Yeah.
there was a whole band was there. Brian May
Everyone
was there.
Brian May.
Stephen Wilson.
Dad didn't go to Brian May and ask him to come on the podcast, unfortunately.
Steve Hackett was there. I should have asked him, actually. I did have a chat with him, but I didn't get around to... I just don't want to come across like I'm trying to sell something, you know.
No.
Talking about selling something, did you see...
well, they won't get paid.
No. But you know what I mean. I had a few people message me about that Fisher's daughter Tara is selling all the Marillion artwork.
I have heard about this.
Yeah, not sure how I feel about that, really. It's a bit weird.
You could buy it.
Well, no, just because when we had that big fight, which, you know, culminated in him leaving the band, it was, you know, his argument that he should get all the artwork and that we weren't entitled to any of it was because it was all personal to him, and it was about, you know, it was all connected to his lyrics, and that was why he thought he should have it all. And then he gives it to Tara, and now she's selling it. So it's just all of it. Anyway, there's not much I can do about it.
What have people reached out and said about it?
Just had I seen it, that was all. I'm certainly not going to be buying any of it.
Well, it's sun damaged, isn't it?
Quite a lot of it is, I think, yeah. Well, you know, probably raise a few quid. And hopefully whoever buys it will be a more careful owner. But yeah, before we go on to our chat with Dave, just wanted to say we had, a few weeks ago, I made available the multi-tracks or the stems for this tune that I did called Loop 1 for people to have a go at remixing, which was a request from one of our Patreon subscribers. And we've had one entry so far. It's not a competition, but you know what I mean. One person, actually two people together, have sent their interesting take on it. But I'm curious to hear some more from other people, and then we can have a little playback session and a discussion about it.
That'd be really fun. Yeah.
So get on with remixing. Send them to us. And if you're no idea what I'm talking about, head over to our Patreon page, Prog and Progeny, patreon.com, and sign up. And anybody who does sign up, if you message us or ask us a question or whatever, we always respond. Sometimes it might take us a week or two, but we do usually. Or a month
or two in my case.
Yes. But
sorry to Paul, who I recently replied to. But
yeah, it was a nice reply. Anyway, enough of our chatter. Dave Meegan.
Dave.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to Prog and Progeny. Take 2.
Yes. Well, you know me and takes. I like lots of takes.
You do. Yeah, I seem to remember that.
Once we get to take 8, it should be about right.
It's good to see you. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
Well, let's start at the beginning. Dublin. I remember Dublin.
Yes.
What do you remember?
I remember that from Fugazi conversations that you were from Artane. Near Artane.
I was from Raheny.
Raheny, yes, it's just down the road from Artane.
Well, originally Crumlin and then Raheny. Yeah. So, which was the part of Dublin that you?
I was Ballymun, which is an infamous part.
Right.
Yes, much feared and everything else. It was sort of a no-go area, unless you were from there.
I think Crumlin was like.
Oh yeah, it would have been. Yes.
Right. So how did you get the job at SARM? Because that's where we met you.
That was, well, I always idolised Trevor Horn.
Right.
So what I did was, I wrote to every studio in London anyway and tried to get interviews, and nothing was happening. I wrote to SARM and I didn't get an interview. I wrote to Basing Street, didn't get an interview. Then wrote to SARM, didn't get an interview. And then about 2 months later, I just got this random letter saying, would I be available for an interview at SARM Studios on December I think it was 15th, 1982. and I was still in Ireland at the time. I was like, geez, and it was like 3 days away or 4 days away. I thought, oh my God, of course I am. So I phoned up straight away, said, yes, I'll be there. And I came over for that interview. The interview went well. That was just with Jill Sinclair on her own. And then, so I came back to Ireland, and then they called up for, we want you for a second interview. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll go back for that. So I went back for that. And that was a horrendous interview, but because it was like, it was Trevor Horn, Julia Mendelsohn, Gary Langan, Jill Sinclair, all my sort of heroes in a line.
Big,
the whole reason for
huge names.
Yeah, and it's the whole reason for, wanting to work at that particular studio, because I wanted to learn with Trevor Horn and whatever. So they were interviewing me. So that was like quite gruesome. And then eventually they just offered me a job. And
right.
That was the beginning of it. But it was a dream come true. But as you can imagine, dreams sometimes turn into very stressful things and almost life-destroying things. And but it was I didn't anticipate the pain, but it was absolute dream come true as well. But
so what was it like working with Trevor Horn in those days then? Because he's got a I should tell Tallulah, he's got a reputation for being very meticulous and often will work on something for months and then start again.
Is
that true?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was to work for. He was an absolute dictator and taskmaster, and probably still quite Victorian in his ways. But so you were always terrified, and the staff turnover was ridiculous. It was like you go in on a Monday and 2 or 3 of the staff members wouldn't be there anymore. And because it was like, you had to be up to the mark and more. And it had to be the only thing in your life. That was kind of what they demanded.
Yeah.
But Trevor learns, he was a music master about arrangements and... and just the old sonic approach and the performance approach. A lot of his approaches were as I hoped, and I could see why he was brilliant. But it also, with that sort of brilliance, came some bad habits as well, as later would develop, as in spending a long time on projects and a lot of money on projects, and you sort of learn, you get customized to those sort of things when you're working in a studio like that. You go, because the word budget, I never ever once heard Trevor mention the word budget in a studio.
Right.
And so
I've met Trevor a few times. He came across as a really nice, relaxed guy, but the way you're describing him, he sounds like he's an Attila the Hun in the studio.
He can be. Yeah. He's I met him 2 weeks ago actually, which is really a surprise. But he and he has matured and mellowed, but he was Attila the Hun, totally.
In fact, he came to see us in London a few years ago. This was quite funny because he stuck his head round the dressing room door just after we'd come off stage, and Pete threw him out. Didn't realise who he was.
Good. Teach him a lesson.
We had to run after him, bring him back in. We've never let Pete forget that. It was so funny.
And Steve H.
So Pete, that was Trevor Horn. He goes, because H-Works has done some stuff with him.
He sang in Trevor's band for a bit, and bits and pieces, and he survived that. So. Yeah. Well,
of course, and we worked with Louis Jardim.
I know. Yeah. He was. Louis Jardim was part of the furniture at SARM back in those days.
I know. He did a lot of work with Trevor.
And George Michael and lots of the other clients that were in. He was sort of first on call for percussion. Yeah.
So do you think you got, because when we worked with you, we had a reputation for being quite slow. We made our albums quite slowly, didn't we? Mainly.
Yeah.
Do you think that came from Trevor? The lack of
no,
hearing the word budget.
Yeah, partially, yes, but it's also a word that I still only can just hear. It's not. it's the art of it all, and the final goal of it all was always. That's why I understood Trevor so well, is because it was always the priority. There was only one right version, and that's what you had to achieve.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And it's
you had to.
It's the reality of the real world. That's why the walls were so thick, I think, was to try and not just keep the sound in and out, but it's also to keep the real world out. And you're just nurtured with that whole that approach.
What I've never known or never talked to you about is what was it like dealing with the record company? Because remember, somebody like Nick Mander, who came in and brought you back into working with us on Brave after he convinced his boss, Clive Black, I think, that you were the guy for the job because you would get a quick and dirty album, we'd get it done quickly and of course. So, but you had to deal with him. You had to deal with Clive and the expectation from the record company that we were going to make this album in 2 or 3 months.
You must remember my secret weapon was that my wife Jane was Clive's PA. So So there was a sort of a cushion, and Clive was very different to Nick Mander. Clive was brought up in a similar way, especially with his dad, Don Black, that he was used to big budgets. And
who was Don Black?
He wrote a lot of the James Bond themes, and what's the other one? Born Free was a big one, and he wrote Ben for Michael Jackson, and lots of big,
huge songwriters.
So Clive was kind of used to that. So he wasn't the enemy, but Nick Mander was. And whereas
we hated Nick Mander.
And that's kind of that you either loved him or hated him, Nick Mander. And because I had Jane in the middle to soften Nick Mander a bit, the issue with Clive was that I never felt pressure from there. So although there was pressure from Nick Mander, I didn't feel. I knew that Clive, who above it, would understand the art of it all.
I just remember him freaking out about spending 300 francs on a coffee machine, which was about 30 quid. Because he thought it was 300 pounds. I was doing a bit of research for this chat today, and I came across a piece about you. I don't know. It was probably in Prog magazine or something like that. Anyway, they asked you about your first interaction with the band, and you said they were typical rock stars. Oh yes, unbearable. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
You said that they were living the life. They were just full of drive and confidence. They kind of knew the world was theirs, and you said they didn't feel at all fazed by being at Psalm, especially Fish. But you went on.
That's so true, though.
Say that,
when I first met you, you filled all the expectations of sort of rock stars, and behaviour. But you're all extremely nice people, but you definitely played out the roles perfectly. And which was
how so?
Well, in the sense that when bands like certain bands came to SARM and they'd sort of take over it, and their personality would sort of dominate a section of it for a while. And Marillion was one of them. Wham was another one. But not many bands could do it. And it's where it switched. It became your home for that period of time that you were there, and it was and everybody sort of warmed to you, and it was it just felt.
I used to
It just felt alive, that session, and that's why I was so. Even though it was almost killed me, I was so enthusiastic about it. I don't think if it hadn't given as much back, I wouldn't have been as enthusiastic. And it's like
so. Just so people understand what happened, you were the assistant engineer in SARM, but Nick Torber, the producer, asked. He was so impressed with you and your hard-working ethic and the way you were so meticulous and always there,
Yeah.
doing what was needed. He asked if you could come with us to the next studio. And the one after that, I think we ended up...
did a tour of London. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and that was...
We kept running out of time, yeah.
No, but that was, from my point of view, that was great as well, because technically I grew up a lot on that session, because you were dumping me in somewhere like Wessex or whichever studio we ended up in, and I'd be in there 2 hours probably before ye, but I'd have to get up to speed with that studio as if it was my own.
Right.
And also be nice to all the people there, so that when ye came in, they didn't hate you already. And it's like, so it would all work on that level. And chances, and I learned that thing of sort of getting it, no matter where you're recording or what you're doing, is making it feel like the same place. So there's not a, you can just, it's like, say Fish was singing something on the Friday night, we moved to a studio over that weekend. Come the Monday, when he comes to sing it again, it doesn't feel any different. He's going to sound the same in his ears. The mic's going to sound the same. The ambience might be different, and it's a different vibe, but technically everything will be the same. And that's kind of what my job was making that bit technically seamless.
What's your most striking memory from that session? I mean, there's been a few stories. We had a chat with Simon Hanhart a few weeks back, or a few months back, and we were talking about that incident with the guy with the machete. Do you remember that? Were you there for that?
Oh, I don't know.
Where we'd run over. It was a typical thing. We were going through the night, and there was a session due in the next morning, and we were still in there. And this guy had an orchestra session booked or something. And it was pretty hairy. The guy pulls out a machete and basically says, "We got to leave."
I would but I would have just ignored that, and I would just carried on.
Yeah. So have you got any striking memories that you can recall from those sessions?
No, I mean it was. There's lots of memories, to be honest, which is quite. Not many sessions have left me with lots of memories, but there's lots of memories of setting up studios, taking down studios. One period I really did enjoy was the Maison Rouge bit. That was very. I was away from home, so I wasn't working at SARM, but it felt really relaxed, and it felt like the whole tempo of the session sort of just calmed down a bit. I don't know if you felt the same, but I remember running out. Fish would send me out to get whiskey before vocal takes and things, and it was just maybe it's because we were doing vocals, and there's less involved, isn't there? And
I think that was fairly late on.
Yeah.
It was fairly late on in the recording, wasn't it? So you're probably doing a lot of vocals. I remember hanging around a lot because in those days we used to. If we weren't working, we would still be there, just hanging around, listening to what was going on, and just being part of it, because it was so exciting and novel to be in a recording studio.
Well, because we've just spoken about Brave in our last episode, in the making of Brave, and a lot of the chat was about how it took ages to make, and Dad said it was all your fault.
Yeah,
that's not quite true. I said the band said it was Dave's fault, and Dave said it was our fault. That's what I said. We're trying to get to the bottom of.
Whose fault was it?
It was Trevor's fault. We've decided.
Yeah. No, it was definitely. It was initially my fault. But then you became part. You sort of signed up to the same contract in the end. That
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to make a work of art, or do you want to just make a record? And you said, we want to make a work of art. And that was like you signing the devil's contract. So done, right? That's it. Your lives are ruined from now on. Yeah. So that. Yeah,
but that was That was an important point to make, though, I think, by you. And I think the thing is, we were all bought into the idea. We all wanted to make the best record we could. We were so, fired up about Brave and what it was turning into. There was no way that we were going to cut corners or rush things. And I think you were right to be like that.
And it wasn't a project that could be simplified. It's not like you could have sat down and played the track. So they say Brave, just the track Brave, the title. Just sat down and played it. It just.
I can remember. It drove me nuts that H spent days, weeks,
months
just
on the vocal intro,
messing about.
Oh, the
intro,
the piano, the strings,
T1,
yeah.
There's like a drone at the beginning of the song, and it's quite simple, but he was just. Every chance he got, he'd sit down and he'd go, "I'm just doing my drone," and he was trying to work out every single meticulous note. He went from being the guy that wanted to rush the song, write a song in the morning and record it in the afternoon when we first joined the band, to be the guy that spent weeks deciding whether it should be an F sharp or a G. It's like, I just remove this note, and then if I move this note here, instead of it being this, it'll be.
Oh, I know.
This, or even this.
Exactly. That never changed though. That continued all the way into Marbles. But he'd accused. I remember some of the energy in Brave, especially in Marowak, came from the sort of tension between you and H, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head just then. It's because H would like to do things really quickly, and he'd be in the mood to do something, and whereas you'd be, got technically sort of just trying to get it right, and it would slow things down or stop it or whatever, and H would explode when you did that, or if you had a fault or something. But at the same time, I could see that H, like with his T1, was just as guilty at spending hours trying to get something right, and then me in my own way was doing the same thing, and Steve Roddery was doing his own thing, and Ian would be doing his own thing. We all had a detail in our minds that we were trying to achieve, and
or something that we felt was more important than anything else at that particular time. And then,
and it's like,
but I think working at Marowak, there was a real atmosphere. That big room that we recorded in, and I remember one of the things that Dave suggested we did. I don't know if it was your suggestion or we thought of it and you thought it was a good idea. Was the Friday evening, everybody have a drink or smoke and then play and just jam this idea. There's a piece of music in Brave called The Slide, and a few other bits like the middle of Brave, the song, where it's quite organic, atmospheric, organic, and we wanted to get in the right mood to do it. So we'd be like, just have a glass of wine, boys, and then we'll try it after dinner. Most of the time we were very disciplined, or certainly you were.
No, it was. It was disciplined, but it was also a lot of from my point of view, a lot of it was just sitting around isn't the right word, but because you could be doing lots of takes or whatever, but I'm kind of just waiting for that. I know what the right take's going to sound like. And I could be sitting around for ages until I hear that, or until he perform it, so to speak. Or it could be really quick. You could do it in one take. But it's like The Slide or something. Those pieces were probably one take in the end, but they were probably done over about 4 or 5 performances on different nights, and then finally everything just locked. And I was listening to Brave this morning, in complete, which I haven't done in years, and it's like I understood now probably better why it took the time it took. Is because each tiny ingredient, every detail is so crafted in a way that it comes across as one piece and not, and it's easy listening in a way, but it is very complex to what it's made of. But it's not complex listening. It's only when you I dive into it and I start analysing it and looking at it, I start going, oh wow, I see what we did, and although you say there's lots, I remember, because everybody says, oh, Dave does lots of layers, which is true, but how those layers work and what I like to see things, it's all performance layers. And it's like, what happens is you're all playing in a room, and on a bad take, everybody's getting in everybody else's way, and it's not really gelling, and either Ian's playing too fast, your sound's too loud, or Roderi's guitar is just too indulgent, or something. It's not gelling. But then all of a sudden, someone will focus all that, and it's random who that person is. And when they focus it, then suddenly Steve Roderi's guitar turns into just absolutely just blooming like a flower. And then Ian's playing just suddenly falls in the groove, and then everything just starts to gel. And then I remember sitting there in the control room, like praying that no one would screw it up. And, or fall out. It's not so much good, it's fall out of the vibe, so to speak.
Yeah.
And if somebody drifted even for a second, the whole thing could fall apart. It's really fragile. And I could hear all that this morning, all those moments of panic. I remember them all so clearly up in the control room in Marriott, just praying that it holds it together long enough to at least get to the outro. And but yeah, sorry, I probably diverse then.
But that thing about when you don't know when you're going to get the take, you don't know when somebody's going to deliver it. It could be the first time they play it, or it could be 100 takes or whatever. Kind of explains now something that used to drive us all crazy. Not in a like really pissed off way, but just like it became accepted that this was what it was like working with you, where you would say, "Can you come in tomorrow at 4:00?" This is when we're doing the overdubs, you know. And then you'd go in and you'd turn up, and then you'd get to about 9 p.m. and you'd be like, "Come back tomorrow." You'd be like, "Okay, Dave, I'll come back tomorrow." And you're thinking, "Fucking hell, been here all day, didn't even get to play a note." Well. But that's what happens when you're trying to produce something artistic, and it's not a day job, is it? It's special, and you're waiting for those special moments to happen. You can't tell when they're going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think it needs to be painful to create good art?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's
Yes.
there is a correlation,
Next question.
isn't there? Pain and art. It's sort of, it's
I suppose so.
across all art.
Not so painful that you cut off your ear. Though.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, I suppose. There certainly needs to be a struggle, I think.
Yeah.
Pain is probably a bit too strong a word for me anyway, but I feel like if you have a struggle to get to where you're trying to get, then it feels like it's worth it.
Yeah, because the whole... Because it was like life imitating art in a way, because the whole of Brave, the making of it, from beginning to end, was a similar experience in a way to what the lyrics were about. It was a journey from beginning to end that was gruesome. A large part of it was very, very difficult, and there was bright parts and there was up parts and down parts, but it was Brave making it for all of us was a journey. It wasn't just a job recording music. Our lives were different at the end compared to how they were at the beginning, I think.
Yeah, I was almost divorced. It was it was a fun time as well. I remember we had a lot of fun doing, like trying to record those explosions from the mine next door. Do you remember that?
Privet. Yeah.
And I one of the a sweet memory I've got of France was you bringing a couple of boxes of these with you.
Oh my God! Yes, big boxes. That was.
Would you like one?
Oh no! I kicked that habit a long time ago. But that was because had I stopped, was I still smoking then?
No, I don't think. No, you started the Lockets after you quit smoking. I think
that was it. That's probably why. Yeah, that was one addiction to the next. Yeah.
So have you not had a Locket since?
No, I then graduated into alcohol a bit.
Why did you stop eating lockets? Was it because of the high sugar content?
No, because Jane said I was starting to turn yellow. So that's kind of, and I began to start to get paranoid and think, oh my god, there's beta carotene in it. Maybe I am.
Why lockets and not just sweets? Why like cough sweets?
They are quite addictive, aren't they?
Yeah, and the bit in the middle, and
the soft honey centre.
Yeah. It was because it fulfilled the ritual like cigarettes did. It wasn't. So that's probably why.
It was like a pusher in the studio. Dave would be like, "Lock it," and he'd offer you one, and then of course you'd have one.
Yeah. Exactly. Get everybody else hooked.
I suppose it could be worse. At least it wasn't cocaine or heroin. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, no, it's funny. The other thing was, I remember on Brave as well when it was being in Marriott was starting to drive. We went a bit stir crazy, all of us at some point or another, but some of you managed to get a break back home, but I didn't. And I remember one Saturday asking Privet to drive me to, what was the town? Perigou.
Perigou, okay.
Yeah, I think it was Perigou. Just to go so I could go to McDonald's and just sort of experience the worst side of sort of city life, just briefly, just to sort of get my sanity back. And that felt incredible, just sitting in there in McDonald's. Having whatever I had, but that sort of saved
fed up
me.
with living in a castle in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine French cuisine,
French wines, yeah. Just needed the antidote. Yeah.
No, it was a great place. That chateau. After we worked there, Miles then turned it into like a regular songwriting thing. Yeah, and it's really. I mean, you can see it online. It's quite a posh affair now. It's all.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't be the same then if you probably took all the vibe out of it.
Yeah, it had a nice earthy, down to earth.
Yeah.
Suit of armour feel to it, didn't it?
Oh, totally.
I remember
haunted.
We had haunted. That was the word.
Yeah.
We put the speaker for the organ in the basement, and then we had like microphones up the chimney in the main room to record the sound as it echoed up the chimney. We were quite inventive with making use of the space, weren't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, that was crucial for some of it, especially things like Brave, the track Brave and stuff. There's lots of, and we did some recording of guitars out in that sort of really stone, small, not a round, it was sort of like a building on
like a tower. Yeah, the tower.
Yeah, like a tower. And we did, some acoustics out there for Brave again. And,
everybody thought I was crazy. I was on a bit of a fitness kick. I used to tie weights to my ankles and run up and down the stairs in the tower.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I remember that. Yeah.
Let's jump forward to Afraid of Sunlight.
Oh, yeah.
It's only a year later, wasn't it? 95.
Yeah.
Did we make it in 95?
95. No, it was 95.
95.
Yeah, and that was all back at the Racket Club.
So we'd moved to a bigger racket club and actually kind of tried to make it more like a studio with a control room and a separate live room.
Yeah.
The one you're in now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
we've been there since then. So probably is it 30 years?
Yeah, 31. Yeah.
My God.
But and then there was kind of a new brief, wasn't there? And it was trying to get it. Let's do it quicker.
What was the brief? Did you actually read the Riot Act after spending so much time and money making Brave, and then?
I didn't feel like, we haven't got enough time. There was a bit of that towards the end, but things were coming quickly, I thought, and we were we developed ideas because the studio was now where it was all being written and everything else. We developed ideas quite quickly.
Did you enjoy being part of the writing process?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know you were because you were more, well, you were there from pretty much the beginning when we were working on Afraid of Sunlight. Brave, at least we'd written some of it before you got involved, didn't we?
No, but being involved earlier meant I had sort of an input on more things. So, I definitely preferred that, because that's kind of, on that level, I'm very selfish, I think. It's...
And I think that's because I wasn't particularly happy with Afraid of Sunlight at the time. And I've said so in the past. I have to say now I was wrong about that album. I think it's one of our best. But at the time, I wasn't happy.
No, because it was, and I remember that. But it was. But the thing was, that didn't become stressful for me because the momentum was so strong, the speed of it, that sort of once the thing had started rolling, no one could stop it. So whether you liked it or not,
you're quite single-minded about what you think is good and what you want, and you don't really. I mean, I'm not saying you don't listen to us or you don't respect us and you don't watch for what we want, but you have an idea. Yeah. And then that's it. You stick to it, and it seems to me that can lead to not resentment, but a feeling of like, this is kind of out of my control. I'm not able to have as much influence as I was when there was just 5 of us involved.
Yes. But also it had the other advantage from your point of view, is that it gave you a common enemy, in the sense of. I said Nick Mander was on the first one, on Brave. Yeah. I was quite happy to be the sort of the devil in the room. So that it was me you had a grudge with rather than each other. Because having done an album, Brave, then you toured it straight away, and then we were back in the studio again. Things were a bit edgy between all of you. So I think it helped the general atmosphere if I could be sort of the one stirring it up at times, or annoying you, or rather than each other. Because
and I think that you need a producer to be in control, and you need a producer to be the one that says, I agree with this member of the band and not this member. You wouldn't put it like that, because I know how it works. One of us would come to you and say, like, for example, I don't know, the song An Accidental Man, which we had a version of it that I particularly liked, and at the time anyway, and then we threw it out, and we ended up doing, well, I think we put it on the next album, didn't we? We didn't put it on Afraid of Sunlight.
Strange Engine.
But the version that we had that I thought was going to go on Afraid of Sunlight, I thought was good, and then that kind of not soured it for me, but it certainly made me feel like it wasn't, wasn't as good as it could have been. Well, I was wrong, but And then Out of This World was another one for me, where we had like a big ending with drums and everything, and it was quite old style Marillion, quite what H would describe as pompous, I suppose, a bit too overblown, and of course he's always thinking about what's the lyric saying, what does it need to support it, and he suggested, I think it was him that suggested, we strip it all back, and you agreed, and again I was thinking, well, that's not as good as it could have been, well, for me anyway, but I loved the suggestion that you had, which was going from the guitar solo into that Only Love Can Turn You Around section. And you said, you've just got to go from that into this, and we're going, but that's in 4/4 and that's in 3/4, and they can't. We couldn't quite get it. And you go, you just made us keep trying and trying and trying and finding a way of because it didn't feel natural at all.
No,
and then. But when you listen to it now, you barely notice the transition as and it's totally natural. But you had to play it in order for it to be, so you knew how it was going to go. But you couldn't play it until you could imagine it. So it was kind of like that,
But that's what I was saying before about you sit around waiting for that moment when everything locks into place.
Were you happy with the album?
No, I was a bit like Mark at the end, going, I'm not sure what this really is, because it's not a concept album. I thought it was going to piss people off in a way. But again, I'd be totally in love with it now. It's not. I can't see any problems with it at all.
It's a weird mixture of different songs, isn't it? Because the styles, like for example, Beyond You, we ended up deciding to do it like a Phil Spector wall of sound approach, even to the point where we mixed it in mono. Did we go too far?
No. See, because again, it's like they were all quicker decisions than what I was used to, and but in retrospect, they were good decisions. I think that we all made. It's a total statement of time, that album. Anyway, it is all connected, even though at the time it felt like all different ideas. But it's sort of it's all got one color or something.
It hangs together really well as an album, despite the songs being quite different from each other. You've got the, Gazpacho. It's almost like a song that Yes might have done.
Exactly.
With the 7-8 time signature. I remember because you mixed it in Parr Street. I distinctly remember being in Parr Street, being up on that top floor where there was like a hotel floor where they had all these rooms. So we stayed there and messing about with a little mixing desk and a bunch of samples that we'd got from various places, putting together the intro for Gazpacho, which was. We were a bit nervous about it because there was all this stuff we'd got off the TV, like the boxing announcer and all that, and it's kind of copyrighted stuff, and we just went, it'll be all right, just put it on there.
I thought a new set of people joined in the sort of club, audience-wise, at that point.
Oh, there's a huge audience in Brazil for Marillion because of that album, because of Beautiful.
Oh, really?
It's like, if you look on Spotify, Brazil is our most streamed market.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for it is because Beautiful was used in a long-running soap on TV in Brazil. In terms of individual songs, Kaylee, of course, being the biggest hit, is the most streamed song on Spotify. But Beautiful's the second most streamed song. So,
Oh, that's good. So, it deserves to be that. I always thought it was.
It's a good song, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very much so. And I remember
good lyric.
Yes, and it's got a lot of emotional links to that one. But we were all living in the same house doing all that album, weren't we?
You, me, and
Bicester.
Was it Mike Hunter?
Yes, yeah. So living with each other, working with each other. Yeah, what could go wrong?
We were thinking that we could get you back again at some point.
Oh yeah. No, that's cool.
Because we didn't really talk about anorachnophobia or marbles.
No. And there are two. For me, there are two major things. Especially marbles has changed my life in a lot of respects.
Did you quit the music industry completely at that point?
Yes. Not because of marbles. I just had a lot of things in my life just sort of all car crashed at the same time, and I just realised that it's time now. I sort of got back home, and I've been away for years. It felt like, and it's like now it's time to be the dad, and just to get my priorities the right way round. And what made it easy, though, is the fact that we'd done marbles, and I was so happy with marbles, 100%. There's not a millisecond of that I can't listen to, and so I thought, when will I ever achieve that again? I thought, I could be working the next 20 years, and I will never achieve that again. And I'd always promised myself, if you're going to quit when you hit that moment, if you hit that moment. And I had done. And it's also Mike Hunter as well, I owe a big thank you to, because the tracks he mixed, Normally that's the bit that screws it up on me. Somebody remixes something and then I can't listen to it again. But Mike, the stuff he did was so sympathetic to the music that it didn't interfere with it at all, and it kept its shape.
Mike seamlessly took over the reins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between you and Mike, we've made pretty much all of our best albums with you and Mike.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's just been in touch with the sort of the core of it all. But that was an easy decision to make, to leave the industry, so to speak. And I still touch back into it, and I still like doing my own music, and there's a few people I work with, and a few people have popped up from the past that I've been working with. And
would you ever work with Marillion again?
It wasn't a joke question. You're not supposed to laugh.
No.
No. Never say never. But it's whether it would be right for me, from their point of view, for me to work with them again. Because they've kept in touch and moved on with technology and moved on with everything else, whereas I've sort of still in Marble's world, if you know what I mean. If I did work with them again, it would be almost like everything you've done in between forgotten, which is not right, and it's because I haven't. Well, I'll tell you what's different with me. There is a lot of things different, actually. I don't know. I can't answer that question. No comment.
God!
I need a solicitor, a lawyer for that one.
For what it's worth, I'll start by repeating what you said. You should never say never.
Yeah.
And people do exactly what you just described, which is they go not back to their roots, or back to back to working in a way that people no longer work in, like recording on analog tape with old equipment, and the end of that process for me would be to go and record something direct to disc, which some bands do as well, or some artists do, especially jazz musicians. They do a live performance recorded direct to disc that you can't change. You cannot. You can't even mix it once it's down. So there's something to be said for that approach, isn't there? Going back to basics, as it were. So anyway, never say never. I think that's a good way to leave it. Really nice to see you.
And you, and Tallulah.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Well, meet you again.
Yeah.
When I'm an adult.
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Great.
Take care, Dave. Thanks.
And you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Hello. Welcome to...
I really enjoyed that.
I did too. It was fun talking to Dave. He's quite an artist, isn't he?
He's philosophical. He's very philosophical. Yeah. When he was speaking, there were moments where I was like transfixed. Like I didn't have any questions because I was just so, engulfed in his words. I think is the best way to put it.
He's very spiritual about the whole thing. And actually, there was a story which I wanted him to tell about the making of Out of This World. We didn't get onto that. We only really touched on Afraid of Sunlight.
Well, we're going to get him back.
Yeah, we definitely need to do more on Afraid of Sunlight.
And he said that Marbles was really important for him as an album. So I think, if he was being philosophical then, God knows how philosophical he'll be.
We should definitely get him back. But yeah, before we go, a quick shout out to our newest subscribers to Patreon. Thank you very much. We've got Ellie Warsop, Martin Gebbett, Nicholas Papadopoulos, and Dave Faulkner. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a big help for Tallulah, who's currently unemployed.
Dad. Yeah, if anyone wants to give me a job, preferably in broadcast journalism, but I'm not fussy.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That was it for this week, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
There's no chapter reading this time because this is quite a long chat with Dave, but we'll resume next time when it's just me and Tallulah. See you then.
Bye. Thank you.